Hoo-wee-hoo! Heyo, interwebs, this is Ian Chimnosky here, but you can call me the Schim, and I am interrupting my travels to the center of the galaxy in my, starter ship which is the challenge that I've given myself in this entire series, really, to play in creative mode for a little bit, because I'm bored, and this present video is a demonstration of how long it takes to go to the center when you're completely unimpeded, and a demonstration of the fact that, to deter you even more, the center stays the same size no matter how close or far you are from it. Which is just a marvel of optics. Like, it's basically a laser beam without being a laser beam, because laser beams stay the same size, but they're only viewable from one position, and that sweet spot gets smaller and smaller the farther and farther away you are from the source, because of the number of potential places you can be in that are away from the source of the laser. But with this, it looks like regular light, but it doesn't change in size, because in reality, in the game, it's just a two-dimensional image that's put on your map and placed behind the other image layer of the three-dimensional images to kind of give the effect of something that's far away. But if such a thing were to exist in real life, it would have to act like a laser whilst also being viewable from every angle like traditional soft light. So it is... I mean, by soft I mean like non-specular. Lasers are so confined that they just don't spread. And anyways, my understanding of optics may be wrong, so my lingo of the terminology may be incorrect, and you should use your own Googling around on the internet to learn about optics if you're interested in being not incorrect about optics. Anyways, it would have to act like a laser and like soft light, so it would basically cause all of the space around it to project the laser in a straight line from the center, and that straight line wouldn't expand or lose brightness and only be viewable from one angle, and then basically project this image onto your retina from wherever you are, and this image would be like an interference pattern. But the problem with this image is that it isn't monochromatic. It's white, and white lasers are hard to do because their wavelengths aren't exactly totally non-deconstructive. You can split them with a crystal, I'm fairly certain, which makes doing holographs and interference fringes and stuff kind of awkward, because they exit mediums at different angles but at the same speed because of the energy in the light wave. And optics, yeah, weird. Anyways, basically I'm complaining because this sphere is unrealistic and annoying, and this journey, as fast as it goes, is still probably going to take forever. But I will reach the center eventually, and I won't actually be there, only the camera will be there, and you'll get to see how weird it is when you get there. I'm not sure I've seen many videos that actually cover this. When you get to the center, you basically just pass it, and then you back up and it's there again. It's annoying. But it does take forever, so feel free to speed this up as long as, like, you're okay with that. And it's... yeah. Or just skip. I mean, depends what you're into. I mean, zooming through space for, like, forever might be your idea of, like, an awesome kick. So, like, whatever floats your boat, man. I didn't fall asleep with my thumb on the thumbstick, but I am probably going to get pretty quiet since there's not much to say. I mean, these stars really are zooming past. It's just that we're covering so much distance that it really does feel like pointless and makes you feel tiny. But that's what drew me to No Man's Sky, really. I mean, would you rather be trapped in a box where you had to bump into the walls every day, or would you rather be trapped in a box where you could walk for years and never reach any of the walls? I mean, either way, you're trapped in a box, but in one box you have all the room you could ever want, and, like, countless possible, countless numbers of possible adventures to be had and things to do. And in the other box, you're basically a veal. I mean, so would you rather be in a veal universe or a lonely universe? I mean, it's a tough choice, but at the end of the day, we want not only a place we can call home, but a place we can call foreign, so we can go explore and have adventures and kick butt and learn and do things. So I like No Man's Sky. It's fun. This is awesome. This is space! It's space! Not much more to be said other than that. This is gonna take a while. Oh yeah, and obviously there's flaws in my metaphor. For example, forget the exact name for this thought experiment, but I'll describe it to you. Basically, it's, if you were to imagine a supernatural being who was also, like, an excellent marksman, they fly to the edge of the universe, and they shoot an arrow past that. Or, I mean, hypothetically speaking, a universe with walls. Sorry, this was a 16th century philosopher. They didn't imagine a spherical enclosure. They shoot an arrow past that, or, like the Flash, they phase through it. Whichever have you, or they just dig through it, basically. Anyways, you get to the end of this universe, and you pass it, and you send out an arrow to go as far as it can go, and it either doesn't stop, and so you're basically a terrarium floating in an actual infinite universe, or it does, and then you go to that wall, and you repeat the same experiment. Either way, it can't end, because nothingness can't exist. There's always going to be something, even if that something is just whatever the wall is made out of. I mean, it can't end, even if it does end. Even if your, like, region of space is entirely unique and the rest of the universe is this grand, bland, gray enclosure that is the rest of infinity, like a giant block, and you're just a tiny little universe bubble inside of a big, bland, gray block of boringness. It's still infinity, and you can still do amazing things with it. And that sounds like a scary version of infinity and a lame universe, but hey, it's infinite, and it's fun. Oh, are we getting close to the center? Nope, that was fake. Not close to the center. Those stars just tripped us out because of the way the light was diffused. So, I mean, it does change in brightness every once in a while, but that's just an optical effect because of, like, gases and filters that we're passing through. It's not actually the light. It stays the same size comparatively. In fact, it looks like it's getting a little smaller even though we're getting closer, which is just, it's weird. It really is. It's supposed to be like a supermassive black hole or something, but yeah, it's not really selling it. But hey, this is the first game to be so freaking, like, full of content, even though that content is repetitive and somewhat unrealistically not unique. It is unique in its own way. It's just that, like, the variations are so small and so unlikely to... I mean, so No Man's Sky version of variation basically is you can have two flying squirrels on a planet, and that's not weird, even though flying squirrels are unique. As long as one flying squirrel has a blue mohawk and the other flying squirrel has a devil tail, they're not related. Which is No Man's Sky video game logic. In real life, if there were two creatures that even vaguely resembled flying squirrels on a planet, we'd be like, holy cow, that is an amazing coincidence. But in No Man's Sky, it's like, yeah, but this one has a bow on top. So it's just, yeah, no. It's not perfect, but to create something this massive is just cool. And it's not just massive in the number of possible things it can create, it's massive and geologically stable for the most part. I mean, you can go to a weird-ass procedurally generated star, fly away to another star, get lost in the cosmos, and find your way back to the star you left before, and have it be in the same place and have the same things that it had before, because it's not random. It was random when it was created, and then it stayed that way. The seed may or may not have been random, but the thing that it uses to generate the stuff in front of you... let me restart. It uses a function and a number, and it interacts with your locational data and probably some other stuff, but mostly your locational data, to generate what's supposed to be in front of you from that in a consistent manner. And because of that, your locational data is what's creating the universes and the stars and all the weird stuff. And the seed that created the way that those would be created from your locational data never changes. So even though that seed may or may not have been random, what you find will be the same, because it's the numbers that count, not their size, if you dig. So, yeah. It's awesome. It's not perfect, but it's awesome. I mean, there's no other game that's open world that's this open world. I mean, a size comparison of No Man's Sky to even the largest present open world game would have to make use of both the largest paper, probably, I don't know. It'd break records in both departments. Basically, you need MIT and their little atom printer, and probably an at least near record-breaking size of paper. I don't want to say record-breaking because I don't want you to hold me to it, but it would have to be the largest and the smallest, because No Man's Sky is pretty dang huge, and then when you compare all the possible No Man's Skies, because of all the possible seeds, and then you create a map of the multiverse of No Man's Sky, because it's all auto-generated, you realize that No Man's Sky isn't just as big as No Man's Sky, it's as big as all the possible No Man's Skies. It is huge. It's not just a multiverse. It's not just a universe, it's a multiverse. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, so like I've told you, viewers before, the consoles I'm using aren't exactly in a quiet and traffic-free location, so occasionally when someone talks to somebody else, I have to make sure they're not trying to address me because I have some headphones on and I'm shouting. But it doesn't seem that anyone was trying to address me. They were chatting to other peeps, so we're good. Peeps is slang for people. Pretty sure most people know that, but yeah, sorry. It's also a delicious brand of marshmallow snack. Hashtag not sponsored. So, this is exciting and boring depending on what your cup of tea is. So basically, the way I think of No Man's Sky is that the space between these stars only exists as a representation of their quote-unquote location. But in reality, each one of these stars is like a mini-map or like a mini-game, and once you select it, it takes you to like a big three-dimensional space with procedurally generated planets. And so the stars are procedurally generated while you're in this mode, but the stars are actually like the landing spaces in like the Mario Party games or whatever. They're there, but and they take you to mini games, but they are themselves. The stuff they take you to isn't generated here. Obviously, it would be a waste of memory, but yeah. At the same time, it's a bit of a bummer because they're just spherical representations of places with places inside of them. So No Man's Sky itself is actually a bit of a multiverse, especially since you can't travel between solar systems without getting the warp drive that takes you through this screen, which is called the Galactic Map, and you actually have to unlock it last time I checked, so yeah. Okay, I'm going to try to put that in the center. I'm not sure I'm going to do a good job. I'm trying to make sure my path is tried and true. Want to keep that dot in the middle and make sure we're heading right towards it so it doesn't wind up on our left or right. And the TV's at a slight angle to me, so I apologize if that's not what I'm doing. Anyways, if you love large, long montages through space, you could feel free to put this on mute and play some relaxing psychedelic music. Maybe speed it up or slow it down and just chill. And if you don't, hey, that's why these are 30-minute segments, and they're all chopped up. And once I care to put the descriptions in there, or by browsing the thumbnails and the videos, you can kind of pick, or you can wait for me to put the descriptions in there. I've been admittedly kind of lazy on that. I apologize. But either way, it's chopped up into segments for a reason, because not every part of No Man's Sky is going to be every person's cup of tea. Bases might be exciting to some people and boring to others. Animals might be exciting to some people and boring to others. Swimming might be awesome to some people and frightening to others, like me. I also think it's awesome, but I have a phobia of large aquatic monstrosities, so I always am on edge in video game water. And ocean water, but yeah. Not so much in the real world. It's more frightening in video games because large freakish monsters do occasionally silently spawn out of nowhere behind you, whereas in the real world, not so likely. I mean, occasionally sharks do show up, but they're usually uninterested in humans. And you have to be kind of far out, so if you're just kind of swimming off the coast, it's not really a thing to worry about. But where was I again? Oh yeah, cups of tea. Yeah, No Man's Sky. So many things about No Man's Sky are just varied. It does need some more stuff, obviously. That's been discussed multiple times, but it already has a lot of stuff. And so for some people, this kind of stuff is cool, and for other people, it's boring as heck. So you gotta wait until what you think is exciting is what's happening, because you have to deal with all of it with No Man's Sky. And I view No Man's Sky as an example of the potential of computers to do awesome things, and I hope that they make their engine open source once, or at least licensed to people, or, you know, available to developers in an affordable way, or another. Or they allow people to create similar engines or what have you, because this kind of stuff, it's a great symbol of what's possible with games. And someday we could have, like, I don't know, like, sim games that use such advanced, like, algorithms that they're no longer just simulators of, like, cities or worlds or tiny people living in homes, but rather the sim games could become like Doctor Who simulators, where you can actually like rewind the like chronological seed and like watch the Sims walk backwards, or like travel to change the seed by like increments of 1 in particular ways to like travel across the Sim multiverse, or like any number of crazy trippy things. And this is just the beginning of like awesome games to come. Or maybe not. Maybe it's going to be like a one-trick pony and nobody else is going to try to risk it. Who knows? I see it as something with great potential, and who knows if that potential will be realized, but I enjoy the game. It's fun. It's fun and I like it. Take that, internet. Hope that doesn't turn into a catchphrase. It's a funny one, though. To me, anyways. I'm sure other people would find it funny, though. Who knows, maybe not. Oh, wait. Is that center? It'd get bigger. Wait. Oh, right, you'll know you're center because that corona will appear. Yeah, the corona really gets brighter when you're looking directly at a bright light source, so if I can just focus it, I would sing Double Rainbow right now, but I don't want to torture you, and also my voice is all hoarse, so I'd be torturing myself as well. Although I feel like this would be appropriate right now, since the whole staring into a bright light and seeing a spherical optical halo. I mean, it's so large you really only see two arches on the left and right of the screen. And rather spectral, but it's fun. See, they go away, you look down, and they show up, and you get it centered, and you get it centered, and it's really hard to get it centered. And you go. Because why wouldn't you go? It looks fun. Flying through starfields is awesome. Starfields with an ST is, yeah. Look at all these 3D constellations zooming past. It's just fun. And all the nebula everywhere, the gas clouds in space. It's really freaking irritating. It's beautiful, but it's also somewhat irritating. But it's also somewhat understood, because the whole reason space looks black is often blamed on nebula and space dust. And also, despite being able to render vast amounts of things in front of you, rendering vast amounts of things on screen is always going to pose a computer challenge, like a computational challenge. So if you want the game to run, like, at all, like, visibly at any speed that can be noticed by the naked human eye, you gotta occlude some things. So showing trillions of stars all at once and having all of their like visual data calculated as you zoom by at incredible speeds would probably be overwhelming to the processors on the computer. I mean, I'm not really like 100% qualified to say that, but I feel like it's kind of common sense, and that's why they add all the smoke. It blocks out the trillions and trillions of stars and helps realistically hide some of them, so that the computer only needs to render some that are within a particular visual field without making it look like they've teleported there. They didn't teleport, they just kind of oozed out of the smoke as you flew past the smoke and through it like fog. But yeah. In the next video, I'm going to try to be totally silent, because despite the annoying sound that plays while you stare at the center, and it's only annoying because it drowns out the nice ambient music, it's rather relaxing just watching the stars fly past. It's fun, it's fast, it's desolate, it's scenic, it's quiet, peaceful, visually interesting. Yeah. probably take a longer break than usual while I go once every 30-minute mark to go stretch and drink water. Because who knows, this might turn into a marathon. I don't want to wind up, like, mummifying myself. And that is an exaggeration, obviously, but it's not healthy to sit in one place, not eating or drinking. It's also not healthy to sit in one place gorging yourself. In excess of anything is bad. So, there you have it. Yeah, I try to keep on an excitable personality for my YouTube videos, but excited-ish to kind of replicate the humor that I actually have for my games, which is, I really do make those kinds of jokes and, you know, like laugh at the fallacies of the game and the unrealisticness of the events and how comical they are when you take them into consideration, and just, you know, antics, semi-slapstick humor, but doing it loudly and consistently enough to make a half-hour video seems to wear me thin, so sometimes you just need to chill. Chill and enjoy the Starfield. And the vast cosmic emptiness between the stars within said Starfield. That's star, by the way. I just don't want people to confuse it with Garfield. I don't know how clearly I am speaking. Although, since I've already said that, it seems like... yeah. I try not to mention incorporated things, but I fail miserably at not mentioning incorporated things. Like, it's hard. It's hard because they're so ingrained in our pop culture. Our pop culture is so ingrained in, like, common speech. It's like... yeah. It's like pop culture is such a big deal that, like fairy tales, it just kind of seeps into the way we refer to things, and the way we reference stuff, and the way we talk. Like, for example, Googling things on the internet. That's a verb! That's a verb named after a corporation. Named after a mathematical concept. Actually, it's not a mathematical concept, it's just a number invented by... I think it was a kid, but I'm not sure. Somebody got told to make the largest number they could imagine, and they said 1 with 100 zeros after it, and people were like, whoa, that's a big number. And I'm pretty sure that's the uninspiring origins of the Google, and a Googleplex is 1 with a Google zeros after it. So yeah, and then the corporation that the verb was named after took its name from that number and misspelled it, but that was a good thing that they misspelled it because it gave them more originality in the end, in my opinion. And then, you know, it seeped into modern pop culture because we all thought it was awesome, and we all started using it, referring to it so regularly that it just became a part of the English language. Like, wow. So, not being able to refer to things that are popular is almost like torture. But at the same time, some popular corporate, like, things do get really, like, prissy about you mentioning them by name, and it's somewhat offensive to my sensibilities because it's... what else are you going to do? It's the truth. Or at least someone's perception of it, and they have the right to voice their opinion, so not being able to bring up particular companies under certain circumstances or express certain opinions about them under certain circumstances is somewhat annoying. And I'm pretty sure the worst thing that can happen on YouTube is being issued a cease and desist request, but at the same time, it's just annoying. Anyways, I see we've gone over time, so... drifting through space. Wait. Did I just see that? Is the camera... I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the video. It seems like there's a tad bit of an underwater effect, but that could also be an optical illusion, so... I'll have to pause it and then slow it down and see if the optical illusion persists. This could also just be like my eyes kind of like being tired. I don't know. Shouldn't really be like drifted. Like, Sorry, I'm a bit slow at times. I bet.